might get loud. It might light a fire within you. It's all hands on deck. Now, for your listening pleasure, 94.9 News Now presents Mean Chet Martin and fearless C.V. Burton. This is Freedom on Deck.
And welcome back to Freedom on Deck, 94.9 FM, WJJF Fox News Radio. I'm excited to bring on an intriguing guest today, covering an intriguing topic. The two most doubted claims in the Bible, the ones people love to say is just metaphor, symbolic, or just plain made up, are the resurrection of Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ, and Noah's Ark. Now, we've had the late Barry Schwartz, photographer for the Shroud of Turin Research Project, on this show, proving scientifically, in my opinion, that Christ was crucified and was resurrected, the sign of Jonah. And now I'd like to thank Dr. Joel Klenck for appearing on this show today. Dr. Klenck was a maritime shipping executive at Crowley Maritime Corporation for 10 years, especially as the vice president of the Bahamas and Caribbean and vice president of Ship Assist of the entire U.S. West Coast from San Diego all the way up to Alaska, where he managed tugs for the large vessels and leased barges from the ports of California, Washington State, and Alaska. He was also general manager of the Bahamas Trade and Burnouth Lines, and his background was crucial in identifying maritime features in Noah's Ark in the southern gorge known as Ox of Greater Mount Ararat. The exact spot is marked on Google Maps, believe it or not, with the Russian phrase Noyev Kavchek, which literally means Noah's Ark. Thank you for being here, Dr. Klenck. It's an honor.
It's great to be here. Thanks, CV. Appreciate the call.
If I'm correct, you are a Harvard-trained archaeologist and the president of the
Paleontological Research Group. It's
Yes.
PRC for short.
Right.
So yes, and I've done archaeology, so much archaeology in so many different geographical areas, and I never specialized in one particular area, but across multiple periods. So I have a pretty broad swath of archaeological experience, especially in prehistoric archaeology.
Yes.
So it's been an exciting life.
I see that. Before I ask you how and when the Ark was discovered and how you know that it is, in fact, Noah's Ark, I just want to establish the fact that you yourself have been on Mount Ararat and that you were actually inside Noah's Ark. First, how did you get access into such a dangerous and politically charged area? And how did you feel being in there? I mean, I would be overwhelmed by the immensity and implications.
The answer is yes. And the answer is, what did I feel most?
Yeah.
Fear.
That's how I pictured it. I've pictured myself being in there a long time ago. I read a book about it, and I thought it would be terrifying for me.
Yeah, it was.
Why is it scary?
I think there's something spiritual there. There was wonder, like, yes. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
I just can't believe it's all true. But there was also just it was this gnawing, total fear. I did the 3 day, what amounted to 3 days doing the survey, and then months in the lab, and piecemealing all the locations of the site via what they call ArcGIS, the map files or the shape files, in preparation to sending it to the Turkish government. And but the overall writing was just fear. Mm-hmm. I've never felt that. They say that in the Bible and in Proverbs, and Shlomo HaMelech, or King Solomon says, "Oh my goodness, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." And
yes.
I always thought that, oh my goodness, this is a kind of a metaphor.
It means respect.
Respect.
Yeah, it's respect.
Like respect. It's not.
No.
It's real, actual fear.
Yeah.
And so that, I hope that answers your questions. And, you always hear about, Adam and Eve being stricken from the valley or from the Garden of Eden, or, every time an angel appeared or God appeared, all the prophets and everyone was just frightened out of their mind. Well, it was like that.
Well, how were you so convinced that it was indeed Noah's Ark when you felt these things?
At the time, it was a hunch.
Right.
But then what you do is you kind of backtrack, you get away from kind of being frightened out of your mind.
Yes.
And then you look at it from kind of an archaeological perspective.
Yeah.
First, in terms of classical archaeology, do all the reports on Noah's Ark match with the actual findings? And we're talking, Genesis.
Yes, that was my next question.
Yeah, Jesus and the Quran and Berosus and Josephus. Yeah. And it's 100% match.
Yeah.
There is no discrepancies between what, Moses.
Give me the top three examples. Give me the top three examples of how it corresponds to the Genesis account.
Okay, well, first of all, you talk about the 300 or the 300 cubits in width or in length, the 50 and the 10. And here the exact, and there's been arguments from the rabbis, the Jewish rabbis, and also from the Muslim imams that, the cubit was much larger way back when. Yeah. And the actual measurements fit really close to the Egyptian cubit. The structure is 150 meters long, 26.33 meters in width, and 15.80 meters in height. Yeah. And then you could readily tell that this was a maritime structure because the walls or the hulls angled or slope inward toward the central keel.
I remember you saying that in the video. And there's also the feces and the grains for the animals and the cages for the animals and the furniture built into the walls.
Yeah, and we can go on. It's built of mostly of cypress, Cupressus sempervirens, the Mediterranean cypress.
Is that the gopher wood that they were talking about? Is that the same thing as gopher wood?
Gopher is very similar to the Hebrew kopher, which is very similar to the Greek kuparison, which is very similar to the Latin cupressus. Right. And Cupressus sempervirens is the actual Latin name of the Mediterranean cypress because it grows very quickly. It grows straight up. So you don't have to do a lot of woodwork. And also, if you cut it down and age it, sap oozes out of the cypress and it becomes very strong. So it's kind of the ideal wood. And many use cypress today in maritime, or they did in historic times, I should say.
Let me ask you this. How intact is it? How are you able to measure? I mean, it's buried under tons of sediment and ice, and only some of it is showing. So how are you able to ascertain the exact measurements?
Well, it's actually the wood itself, the structure itself is 4 to 11 meters under the surface of the gorge.
Did part of it break away and slide down in an earthquake? I heard.
Yeah, there's 2 areas, but it's broken into 10 pieces or 10 sub areas, and from there, 14 archaeological loci have been able to be determined. Okay. So yeah, it's broken, but just through the strength. It's at the bottom of the gorge in the southern gorge, or what they call the Okus Vadisi, or the Ox Valley, on Greater Mount Ararat.
What is the most compelling evidence? I'm sorry, we're so short on time. Because we're going to do 2 more segments after this. But what is the most compelling evidence that it is Noah's Ark?
Thousands of cages from 20 centimeters to 4 meters in width, filled with non-skeletal remains, everything from feces, tons of feces, feathers, hair, scutes, exoskeletons.
And this is all documented with photographs and videos and samples?
Yes.
Wow.
I've just given you like the little aperitif before the main course. The second thing is the ballast. There's ballast all along the port and to the starboard side of Noah's Ark. And these are vertical cypress beams holding back tons of rocks. Now, these rocks, these lithing materials are coral, chert, all the stuff that is from the Levant or the area of Israel and southern Lebanon, southern Syria and Jordan, and do not reflect the basalt of the rocks of Agridagi or Greater Mount Ararat.
All right, wait. We have to cut away to a commercial. I'm really sorry. But we're going to be right back with Dr. Klenck. You're listening to Freedom on Deck, 94.9 FM, Fox News Radio.
He walks with God day after day. And then one moment he was swept away.
And we're back on Freedom on Deck, Fox News Radio, 94.9 FM. We're back with Dr. Klenck. This is CV Burton. And we're going to talk about what are some of the biggest obstacles from both the religious right and secular left when it comes to obstructing a controversial historic find like this, particularly when it pertains to potentially Noah's Ark.
Well, from the secular left, we're all raised. I graduated with my master's and PhD in anthropological archaeology in a secular viewpoint. So that there's no biblical truth. There's no real truth to the Quran or Barosas
not
or
much.
Josephus. Yeah. So, and all of a sudden now we're confronting a 158 meter barge, buried 4 to 11 meters under the surface of the gorge on Greater Mount Ararat, between 3,900 and 4,700 meters above sea level. And, a lot of people just discount it, just say, well, it's not there. Well, this huge monumental prehistoric barge is not going to sprout little Noah's Ark legs and walk off the mountain.
I know, right?
Because it's trapped. And, the individuals that have been harassed and vilified, it's all because, we're just saying the truth, the truth that there's this huge archaeological site on the mountain. Now,
and they can't hide it, although they've tried.
They can't hide it now.
Right.
Now with your show and others and with other archaeologists involved, it's not going to go away.
Right.
So really you're kind of revealing a secret that's been kept for 2,000 years, before this thing goes supernova.
Yep.
And, National Geographic is camping out, in the Okus Vadisi, getting the information from the archaeologists. So then you move to the religious right. And a lot of people don't realize that kind of the religious right is kind of very much controlled by this philosophy called radical flood geology, which states that all geological strata were formed in the 1 year flood.
Yeah.
And they say that, there was no mountain, there was no Greater Mount Ararat, and we should discount science. And they believe that Noah's Ark has gone away, decomposed, and so that was their presupposition. So we're confronting this huge 158 meter, epipaleolithic barge or late Stone Age barge is confronting the right and the left, who have the presuppositions to say, well, it doesn't exist. Well, here's the problem, CV. Yeah. It's there, and so if they don't like it, they can kick it, because this is not a religious exercise. Yeah. This is just, hard science. I mean, really hard. I mean, this structure is covered with cypress sap and bitumen.
Yeah.
as they said in the Bible, and it's very evident at Noah's Ark.
And when I was looking up, I was trying to find this because I had heard of this peripherally, and I was trying to locate it. I was trying to find videos on it on YouTube, and there was this other location that seemed to be a decoy, and it was like on a field. It was on a field, and it was like maybe it was on high ground, but certainly not a mountain. And there's like a group looking at it, and there's one woman saying, "I'm shaking that I'm so close to it." I'm like, that's not even the Noah's Ark. It looks like something that was put there to be a decoy.
Well, a lot of people say it's a geological formation, but here's and this is Duru Pinar. Yeah. And Duru Pinar has yielded no artifacts.
That's right.
Nothing.
That's right.
No architecture. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, wow, there's high pH levels. Well, when you're in a concave bowl, anything that dies there or defecates there or, decomposes there is going to increase the elevation of the pH levels as opposed to a slope where the water just washes everything away.
It could be the animals that came from Noah's Ark itself and migrated down there and died there also.
Yeah, that migrated down from the site of the Okuz Vadisi.
Because they did migrate down from there. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the Okuz Vadisi, though, at Noah's Ark, you have thousands of cages. You have tons and tons of wood architecture. You have a Stone Age assemblage with all these grinding stones and stone bowls.
Oh my God!
You have lithic material. You have the debitage. You have the basketry. You have no pottery inside it because it's from the time before pottery.
Right.
But you have a perfect late Stone Age assemblage. Preserved. Number one, by God, who wants it as a sign, and number two, the fact that it's like Noah's Ark is like a Matirushka doll, where you have like little dolls over more dolls over, layers, 5 to 11 meters under hundreds of layers of rock and ice. So that's why the preservation is so good. So in one site you have nothing in Duru Pinar, in the Okuz Vadisi, in Noah's Ark, you have everything. You have an entire assemblage, the entire structure.
And is it more visible at certain times of year, like in August when the ice thaws?
Absolutely. Right. And that's why I was there in the late part of September.
How long were you there?
At the site, I was there 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Just doing survey after survey after survey, marking all the, where the structures were, and then all the little tunnels that were used by the Armenians, historic Armenians, to lead visitors to be worship, 4 to 11 meters under the surface of the gorge in these little reliquaries or worship areas where people left, cultures left hundreds of artifacts, votive artifacts, which are from every single period after this late Stone Age, early Neolithic transition.
And they came to visit. And
correct.
What are some of the worst individuals or groups who are creating the most combative obstruction to the elucidation of this amazing find?
Well, you have the secular archaeologists, but I would expect that from them.
Right.
Like the Colin Renfrew passed away. There's
the diehard atheists.
The diehard atheists, the diehard secularists. And then you have another group that's really that I wouldn't have expected. People like Answers in Genesis. Yeah. Answers in Genesis gets lots of money every year from having people visit the replica ark.
Right.
But they've been the most combative. Also, surprisingly, several of the professors, one who died with cancer eating all through his bowels.
Oh my God.
It have been the most antagonistic. But I just think it's just interesting that they're just so acerbic and so antagonistic about this site.
What do they actually do to obstruct? Well, do they sue? Do they sue? Do they?
No, what they've done is they've done like a whisper campaign, try to do
discredit you.
discredit me in every way, and then combined with another individual that's very involved in providing funding through USAID, or was funding through USAID. This individual named Amy.
Oh my God!
And she's very focused on providing a lot of benefits and monies to the
opposition.
This original Satan worshiping group,
I'm sure,
called the Yazidis, that worship the devil or Melek Taousi 5 days a week.
Oh my God!
So
I do hope that Donald Trump has defunded them. I mean.
Well, it's so funny, others like yourself and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and all these other individuals say, Satan is behind it. Well, in this case, Satan is really behind this destruction of this archaeological site.
Yeah.
So these are kind of the large individuals that have been the most antagonistic that I was surprised about.
Wow.
I've been completely surprised.
Well, I'm not surprised that there is such an evil element. I mean, we're seeing a lot of evil in our own country. People being assassinated just for voicing their opinion is horrific. And, maybe our culture is reaching a point of such a horrible sin reaching high heaven that the return of Christ will come soon, because like you said, his second coming will be like in the days of Noah, everybody was surprised.
And it's so interesting you mentioned that. Matthew 24 just says, Jesus says, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right.
And, here we have, what was during the days of Noah? Well, the ark.
Yeah,
and now,
exactly.
The ark has been discovered. It's not going away. We know exactly where it is. And now all of your listeners know exactly where it is. And just talking about assassination, I've gotten death threats from Armenians and other individuals say, how could you let this secret out? This is our culture. Mm-hmm. Or others just saying that, you need to be killed just because you're revealing the site. Well, if I'm going to have a secret and, that could make me a target, what's the proper thing to do? Tell everyone the secret. Right. So it lessens the liability for me. And so that's exactly what I'm doing.
All right, we're going to be right back with Dr. Joel Klenck. You're listening to Freedom on Deck, 94.9 FM, Fox News Radio.
He walks with God day after day. And then one moment he was swept away.
And we're back with Freedom on Deck and Dr. Joel Klenck. Thank you so much for being on this show today. It's been very enlightening. I'm sure our audience really enjoyed it. And for the last discussion, we're going to talk about cultures and nations and how have different cultures reacted to this find with their different viewpoints and their different ideologies and philosophies and stuff. What is their appraisal?
Starting from the center and outward. First, the Armenians. They have two views. One is just surprise, and they're so upset that this secret is being revealed. But another part of the Armenian culture is just like, this had to come because by making Noah's Ark a secret, the Kardashians are now more important in Armenia than, Noah's Ark is.
Really? That's so weird.
They're huge. From the Iranian perspective, is they're very enthusiastic about this site. They send their battalions up Greater Mount Ararat every single year. And their viewpoint is, as soon as the discovery is made of Noah's Ark and it becomes public, the Mahdi, the 12th Imam, is going to rise from Shia Islam and yield a Muslim revolution.
The Muslim Messiah.
Exactly. And then the Turks, the Kurdish element around Mount Ararat is very, very worried because, again, there's two sides. Number one, a lot of them feel that their arms are going to be so tired, lifting the money from one table to another from dealing with all the religious tourism that's going to materialize because of Noah's Ark. Mm-hmm. But the other side, the more superstitious, there's this prominent prophecy in the Kurdish community that Noah's Ark presages the end of the world.
Oh my God.
So you have, multiple groups. But from my perspective, number one, this is a wonderful site for conservative political views that believe in the Bible, but also, conservative Muslim entities that also believe in the Quran.
Right.
So we're dealing with, for secularists, this is just a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't imagine a worse site being found.
Because
And
it proves the existence of God, because how would Noah know that such a flood was going to happen unless he was told it by somebody who knows everything? And there's only one person who knows everything, and that's God.
Exactly. And it's even worse than that when you consider the carbon dates, which show the presence of God. From the exterior of the vessel, it dates to 3228,000 BC, calibrated BC.
Wow.
The interior cores, though, are from 9,600 BC. And then in the center of the vessel, there's Turkish reports that it's radioactive, because
Wow.
God is showing up in the midst of the ark and continues to do so.
Wow.
And so you have, radioactive artifacts.
That's sort of like
artifacts
what might have caused the image on the shroud was intense power and energy like that.
I did not think about that, but now that you said it, yeah, absolutely. So what you have is, normally in normal archaeological sites, you have the inner core being very ancient and the outer exposed to the elements being more modern. But this is the exact reverse because of the presence of God. And so this is the first evidence of the presence of God in an archaeological site.
What is the codex? What is the codex that you were talking about? I don't understand that.
In Locus 14, in area A1, a codex, a cloth or a parchment made of animal skin was found. And we're able to see four of the pages, but these reflect symbols that are present in late Epipaleolithic, late Stone Age cave sites that they've been etched into the stone. But here we can see is that this early Semitic language, this early Paleo-Hebrew, Epipaleolithic Hebrew, was there from the very beginning.
Right.
And the syntax and the grammar and the wording are from the Stone Age. And so this idea that, no, writing just began with Sumer or ancient China, or is ridiculous. No, writing began even before the Stone Age, as secular professors have noted in Stone Age context. And now we have the Klenck document in Noah's Ark.
I'm not one of these biblical hardliners that think the universe is only 6,000 years old. Okay, I do believe the universe is about 14 billion years old, but it seems like the carbon dating of the Ark is older than what the Bible said it was. Am I wrong?
Well, no, you're not, because also in the interior you get a lot of dates from 2500 BC. 3000 BC, which correspond to the Septuagint and the kind of the biblical chronology.
Right. What was 9,000 years old, though, that you said?
Yeah, 9,600 years BC is the secular dating based on and correspond to the Younger Dryas, where we have, this really weird extinction where everything is dying out, or many species are dying out, in the Americas and Australasia.
Right.
And many species are surviving. And now we know why, because their proximity to Noah's Ark. We also have the filling of the Atacama, the Rubel Khali, with fresh water.
Oh, wait.
Around this time,
you were clicking out
now
for a
we
second.
know why.
You were clicking out for a second. Can you repeat what you said just a second ago?
Sure. We have all these filling of the Rubel Khali and the Sahara and the Atacama deserts with fresh water. And that's because of the global deluge.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, I know,
And this is how-
I know a day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day to Yahweh. So I'm not such a stickler when it comes to the exact dating of Noah's Ark. But are you saying Noah's Ark is indeed older than what the Bible would suggest, or are you saying that it does correspond to the dating of the Bible? I'm not sure.
It does correspond to the dating of the Bible. The problem is that we've assumed like the Stone Age, farming age transition was so old, and looking at Noah's Ark, and especially the dates there, we have to reevaluate the temporality or the ages of the Chalcolithic and early Bronze Age and Neolithic and the Stone Ages to be a lot less years. And I think Noah's Ark is going to push people in that direction.
All right. What is an important thing that we didn't cover yet?
Sure. The fact that there's a codex there, that there was written languages, and both Moses and Muhammad, mentioned that the Semitic languages are the oldest language group, and that's certainly true in light of the Noah's Ark Codex. You're also looking at, just from the deductive perspective, Noah's Ark, that's the only thing it could be on the mountain, because it's not a temple, because it's only utilitarian wear there, it's too remote. It's not a temple because it's absolutely filled with feces.
Right.
And it's not
and
a
the walls,
domestic.
And the walls are angled in like a ship would be.
Yes. And covered with barnacles on the exterior, which you would find, if it was, but here you're finding it right on or near the top of Greater Mount Ararat. So there's no doubt this is Noah's Ark, and this is just the beginning.
And what are the implications to modern human beings today?
Well, I think this is going to end the age of secularism and begin this new religious period where we're crafting or we're consolidating both spiritual views and scientific views. And it's going to end the dogmatism of the secular left and the secular control of academia and usher really a new age.
Yes.
Of scientific inquiry.
Yeah.
And also, expose the biases in, these publication houses, where they
for the lies that they are
secular.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the lies that they are. Thank you for saying that, CV.
And where can people find more information about you and this amazing discovery?
You can find it on joelklenck.com, araratpreservation.com. And just go on Noah's Ark data.
Okay.
And I have lots of videos there, and there's going to be a whole new spate of videos out soon.
Prepare to spend a lot of time there, folks. The information is endless. I've seen some of it. I've only scratched the surface. But thank you, Dr. Klenck. I appreciate you being on, and perhaps we'll meet again soon. God bless.
Absolutely, CV. Thank you.
This is Freedom on Deck, 94.9 FM, Fox News Radio.